I know him, he was probably wearing the thing to bed at night, as I eventually did, and it was conducive to sleep because it was at 4 hertz. Well, when Bob was a young man, he published a paper in 1978. He drove stakes deep into the ground, looking to see if there was some resonation from the molten core of the planet. And he found one, 9.6 hertz, very close to 10 hertz. And since I'd already been aware of this 10 hertz pattern, back in 2000, when I was working with microcurrent stem, it seemed that was the light bulb went on. That's why the 10 hertz studies work as well as they did, because for whatever reason, our planet emits a 9.6 hertz beat frequency. Now that's different than the Schumann waves that go around the planet. This radiates up.
From the planet core?
Correct.
Wow.
According to Bob Beck now. Okay? But when I saw that was 9.6 hertz, and these researchers were monkeying around with frequencies in the 10 hertz, 20 hertz range and higher, and then, they do show effects, the higher frequency devices, but it's not something you want to expose yourself to for hours at a time, because it's going to tune you up. When I first came up with the EarthPulse, I found the limit of where that tune-up should be, and I said this thing needs to be at the second Schumann wave, which is 14.1 hertz, and not above that. And come to find out years later that when you subject animals to 15 hertz chronically, they have negative behavioral effects. At 20 hertz, they start producing stress hormones. At 10 hertz, they were foraging for food, highly social, making babies.
Fascinating.
So we have this natural law that science doesn't give any regard to whatsoever, and that's we are designed to live in a very low frequency environment, and that frequency is now gone. And if you don't protect yourself, you're going to end up not healthy.
Absolutely fascinating. You write on your site about doing these breath tests. They're called resting breath hold test, or RBH tests. Explain to us what they are, why they're important, and why they're part of your protocol.
Okay, thank you for reminding me about the RBH. This is how we're able to show that the device is having an effect, the desired effect. And what the breath hold test does is it gives you a very objective way to track how well your mitochondria are converting oxygen into usable energy. In other words, if you hold your breath for 30 seconds, that's not very good, but you hold your breath for 30 seconds, that means that your deep lung full of air, after you've done a controlled breathing exercise for 15 or 30 seconds, and then you hold your breath for time, your body's burning all that oxygen in only 30 seconds. You get on the device. A week later, you test your breath hold again. So we do this baseline, and then we do it once a week for 4 weeks. And what we find, generally, is the increase in breath is about 20% by the end of the first week or two.
Wow.
By the end of the 90 days, most of my clients are between 25% and 50% higher, though I've seen it go up higher than that. Mine, and I don't do it often enough to consider practice, because, the last time I did it was almost 2 years ago. Time before that was 18 months. So I only do it every so now and then. And I went from 1:20 at my best, sometimes 1:17, because I'm a surfer, and that's one of the things you do. You just know how long you can hold your breath. And the first time I tried it, not thinking any effect of my device whatsoever, just how long can I hold my breath? And I held my breath for 2 minutes.
Wow.
I just sat, and I was sitting in the car waiting for somebody to come out, and I'm just sitting there killing time. I'm scratching my head going, 2 minutes? That's insane. So I let it go. About 8 months later, I did it again. I'm at 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And it's continued to rise And like I say, I only do it a year or 18 months in between. The last time I did it was 2 minutes and 32 seconds.
What does that mean biologically in terms of a translation of our well-being?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. What's happening is your mitochondria, which is what burns the oxygen, this has nothing to do with the transport of the oxygen, is that the mitochondria are creating enough energy to support the body for that much longer of a period of time. So that if your breath hold goes up 20% and you didn't pass out, that means your breath was used 20% more efficiently to sustain yourself sitting in approximately the same position as the last time you did it, and under approximately the same conditions, where you deep breathe for about 15 seconds to a minute or whatever you choose to do as your routine. So what I tell clients is it's going to continue to rise for, it could be a decade. And I don't know exactly why that is.
That's amazing. We did a show on breathing some months ago. This fascinates me. Absolutely fascinates me.
Well, you know, what was that lady, Greer something or other in Vegas? She used to have that, she had a losing weight with the breathing routine. She lived in Las Vegas. Her first name was Greer, and she was a 40-something or 50-something blonde on doing infomercials, and it was about how to lose weight by...
Oh, yeah, I do remember her. I actually bought that product, but I laughed so hard watching the video that I didn't take it seriously. But then I read Pam Grout's book on breathing. It was so amazing. It's called Jumpstart Your Metabolism, How to Lose Weight by Changing the Way You Breathe. And they have exercises in there. It's fabulous. But I think that the device that you're talking about, where you actually have a protocol to test how it's going in that arena, fascinating.
When I was first playing around with the concept of testing people, it was this one guy who's got a current, this is back on 2005, he's now a world record holder again. He'd been, and he was in a down slope, and he was like, look, if I can't pull it together this season, I'm out of racing for good. So he got one of my devices. That was in 2005, and he's still setting world records. And I said, look, do me, how long do you hold your breath? And he goes, 2 minutes and 32 seconds. Knew exactly, right off the top of his head. I said, try it. You've been on the device for 2 months. See, call me back. Called me back like 11:30 at night. He's like, I just held my breath for 3 minutes and 6 seconds.
Wow.
Now, this is a guy that's world class, he's a swimmer. You figure those guys are as aerobically fit as you're going to get. And out of nowhere, his breath hold goes up 19%. So my next progression was, how far can you swim underwater? And he goes, I can swim the length of a 50-meter pool. I go, can you turn? He says, no, I'm passing out when I get to the wall. So I said, next time you're in the water, just give it a shot for giggles. Calls me back 10 o'clock that night, and he goes, I just swam 75 meters underwater. He goes, man, that's a 25% increase. I'm like, hey, that's a 50%. Yeah, 25 meters on the 50 meters. Okay, so under load, whether it has to do with creating lactic acid or whatever else, under load, the effect is even greater.
It's awesome.
So, I've got these world-class athletes that the last thing they want is for their competitors to know that they're on my stuff.
Very exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking to Paul Becker, the founder of EarthPulse Technologies.com. He is the creator of Sleep on Command, the most effective sleep performance enhancement and longevity tool ever developed. He is guaranteeing vastly improved sleep and enhanced physical and mental performance or your money back. He can be reached at area code 305-434-7061 and www.earthpulsetechnologies.com. Paul Becker, thank you for being with us. I hope when we do another show on electromagnetic radiation that you will join us as one of our guests. And thank you for joining us from the Ukraine today.
Thank you so much, Kim. I've enjoyed being here, and I look forward to doing a round robin with some of your friends.
Thank you so much.